Hello and welcome to Sparkle and Chill. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm glad to have you. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different. How many of you kind of maybe stumbled onto my channel because of the title? And maybe you have never diamond painted before. Somebody got you a kit, or you bought one yourself and you got it and you're like, okay, how do I do this? When I first started diamond painting was in probably May of 2023. And I started because I had gotten sick and I was not able to work, and a friend sent me a care package. And in that care package was a package of 6 diamond paintings, and I actually have one of them right here that I'm going to show you. And I didn't know what diamond painting was. I'd never heard of it, never seen it. I never even thought about doing it. It was just suddenly I had this package that had them, and there was like these little instructions on the bottom that didn't make any sense to me. I wish I had thought about, let's check YouTube and see if anybody knows, but I don't automatically, or at least at that point, I didn't automatically say, let's Google this. I remember I was at work a couple years later, and I was working for some young kids in their late 20s, and they were like, and I didn't know how to do something on the computer, and he goes, did you think to Google it? I was like, no. I was like, okay, I'm in my late 50s. No, I don't think to Google everything. So it was pretty funny. But anyhow, so anyways, I thought today I would walk you through how to diamond paint. And the great thing about diamond painting is it's one of the greatest crafts because there's really no wrong way to do it. There's no right way to do it. There's no right or wrong way to kit up. There's no right or wrong way to kit down. I mean, anything is basically whatever you decide to do. But if you've never done it before and you're like, I don't even know where to start, because it can be a little overwhelming. My advice that I tell people when they're going to start diamond painting is, don't get a gigantic canvas. Get a canvas that's like a 30 by 30 centimeter or a 30 by 40. But make sure the picture is big. It's not a bunch of small little details, because those smaller ones with a bunch of little details don't turn out very well. And then you'll get frustrated and you won't like it. And you'll think, this sucks, you know. But the reality is if you get the right picture and it's big enough, that the picture can form properly, they're wonderful. But sometimes people get those 30 by 30s or even a 20 by 20, and it's so small that it just looks like a bunch of pixels on a page and you can't really tell what it is. That's just a badly rendered picture that should have never been made to begin with, right? They should only make paintings that are going to come out, honestly. They should check them, and would I want to do this? Would this outcome make me happy? Right. So all you need comes in the package that you get. This happens to be one of the 6. There's only 2 left of the ones that I got from my friend, and I just had got different ones, so it's just been sitting in my thing and I happened to find it. So we're going to open this, and I'm going to show everything you need to diamond paint is in this little thing. The only other thing that you have to get or need is some kind of storage. And if you have absolutely nothing, do what I did. I used these. It's very rudimentary, but it works. So let's look at the canvas first. I'm going to pause and come back, and we'll open it up and show you everything that comes in the kit. Okay, we're back. All right. So what we need now is to let's just open this up. This is a standard 30 by 40. This is a kit from Amazon. I suggest if you're starting, start with a kit from Amazon. You don't know. The great thing about there's a lot of people out there that will say, only buy a kit that's got, you know, licensed art and all that. And I agree with that in theory, okay? The truth is that not every kit that's on Amazon is a pirated kit. You can go and search the pictures and check. But for all intensive purposes, and the other thing, this is poured glue, so one of the things that we do oftentimes to get it to straighten out is to just roll it this way. Just roll it up, and what this will do is help it flatten out and get some of that other stuff out. Everything that came in here. Okay. And then the other thing that is very helpful is to just pull this back like so, and then put it right back down. Make sure not to get the wrong side down. That's why you don't want to just pull it off. And then this side, and see how that just kind of helped flatten it out. That will help get it to where it's, this is a pretty one. I hadn't opened this one, obviously. So when I got it, I got a picture like this, and then these directions. Can you actually see what that says? Even looking at it close, can you actually even see those directions? I think not. They're not actually directions because you can't actually read it. Now there's directions here in writing, but we're going to go over what it is that you need to do. So the first thing I want to show you is the pin and the boat. Now these little boats get a lot of jokes and laughs, and people are saying, you don't need this. I would suggest you get a better tray. Well, yes, I would suggest a better tray is advisable, but you've never diamond painted before, and you don't even know if you like to diamond paint. So this is fine. This is going to work just fine till you decide you like it or not, right? This is perfect. This is your wax, okay? The wax has a little film on each side. See that? There's like a little plastic film. You want to make sure you remove that before you try to use it, because the pin doesn't go into it very well. Everybody's done it at least once where they've done that. So I'm going to pull that piece completely off, okay? And then you load the pin. And this one is a very rudimentary kit. This only has the pin with the single placer, the wax, and the boat. And that's fine. You can still diamond paint. So how you load the pin, people say, well, how do I do this? So this was the part I couldn't understand. I'm like, okay, so what do? So you take the pin and you just put it in there. And usually, at least the first time, it takes doing it at least twice to get enough of the wax inside the pin that it's going to grab a hold of the diamonds. Now, so we've got the pin loaded. We have our boat. Let's set this aside. Now, how do we make sense of this? We've got all these. They're called drills, but they're what we call diamonds for the diamond painting, but technically people call them drills, or and they all come in a train. And this is the part that gets tricky when you don't know what to do. What I did when I did it the first time, I thought, okay, how am I going to do this, and how do I keep track of the colors? This has 20 colors, okay, and and on here there's a table 1 to 20, and then there's a symbol next to each number. That's the symbol that's on here that you're going to look at. See those symbols? Okay. And then the numbers here are what's called, the third number, 154, 304, those are DMC codes. If you've ever done cross stitch, DMC codes are the colors. What are you doing, Millie? Just a minute, let me see what she's chewing on. Oh, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so the DMC codes are the same as, they're the color codes for cross stitch. And what they did was technically, if you had this on a cross stitch thing, you could make this using floss and doing cross stitches. This, so each of these colors, the 20 goes to the 20 and it's the V, okay? So once these bags don't reseal, so once you open them, you've got to put them somewhere. That's where the baggies come in, okay? Everything, so this is everything you need to do this, okay? I'm going to grab a sandwich bag. This is literally the way I did it when I did it my very first one. I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. So what I did was because I didn't know anything about storage. I didn't know anything about diamond painting. I'd never heard of it before. Literally, I did not know what I was doing. Open up the bag. Cut the number 1 open. Pour it into here. And then what I did, because I'm like, well, how am I going to keep track of what's what? What I did in the beginning, before I learned about other things, oops, there's one in there that doesn't want to come out. That's all right. Then what I did was I cut this number. It's the number 1. And I put it in my thing. In hindsight now, you could probably tape that to your baggie, to the outside of it, so that it's on the outside, but this works just as good, and you're not having to use anything else. And here, all my number 1s are in this baggie. I went from there to number 2. Got a new baggie, basically, and so on and so forth. Okay? Pretty simple, right? And you're like, but Kimberly, how are you gonna use them out of a baggie? I'll show you that in just a minute. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna get all of these into baggies. Oops, I didn't put the piece in. That's the other thing you gotta remember to do. Oh, I did it. You wanna make sure you put these in there. Okay. Okay, 2 is, oops. One of those fell out. Oh, that was this one. So you just keep going until you get all of them done like that. I'm going to pause and I'm going to get these done and I'm going to come back because you don't want to sit through. Well, actually, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to pause the video and I'll come back with these all in baggies. That will save us a little bit of time. And we're back. All right, so I've got just a few left to do. And so as you'll see, I have this whole thing of baggies here. And they're just full of the drills. Millie, my dog, she has decided that climbing along the top of the sofa is fun. That's her new favorite thing, is to sit up on the way top of the cushion. And since I'm over here, she can't get to me. I've got the gate up. But she can see me. So you just get them all in. Doesn't matter. Now the great thing about doing these budget kits is that they are acrylic drills, which normally when you're doing the resin drills are better, higher quality. But when you're first learning, I kept hearing people, when I finally discovered YouTube, I kept hearing people talking about static and all the things they were doing, and you don't have to worry about that so much with acrylic drills, which is a good thing, because I didn't even know what static was until I did a Diamond Art Club. Then I was like, whoa, what is this that's going on? So this final color has 2. I'm pretty sure this is the background color. And voila, we are done. Let's get all of those in. Okay, so we can stick that over there. These are pretty. So all our drills are now in baggies. Now what? Now what do you do? You throw the box of baggies on the floor. That's a good exit. Okay. So we loaded our pin already. So when I first started, I didn't really know what to do. Do I have any sitting here? Pretty sure I have a couple in here. So then how does one diamond paint? Do I have? I happen to have these, but I just used paper clips before, but imagine all I have is paper clips, because you can do this with nothing but paper clips. Or if you have some little other clips like these work good too. Anything you have sitting around. So pretty much I haven't had to buy anything other than the baggies. And now I want to start working on my diamond painting. So what I did in the beginning was I just pulled this up, about this much. Not too terribly much, just about that much. And then I used paper clips to hold that cover up. You don't want to pull all of it up. Now, I always start from this corner and move over. I hear a lot of people say they like to start over here so they're not putting their hand in it. I've never really had an issue with putting my hand in it. I am going to turn on my little light here so I can see a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do is, what number is P? P is 10. So I'm going to look through here. It's 5, 9, 10. And I keep them in order as best I can. The other thing is I also would get a big 1 gallon bag. I don't happen to have any right now. And I would use that to put all of these in to keep everything together. I don't have one right now, so we're just going to do it the way it is now. So now, how do I use this part? How do I get the beads or the diamonds into the right way? So, what I love about using the baggies versus, when you're first starting out, is you literally just put this in here like so, get some of the beads in it, or diamonds, and voila, they're in here. Set that there, and then you ever so gently shake it just a little bit. These little ones, because the edges are, but you can see I didn't shake it hard, but they're all now, a lot of them are pretty much in a line. So then what you do is you get your pen, right? You have your pen. You just take, and from the top part of the bead, you just, put them down. And you just keep going. You get one, there's another P there. There's one up above it. So you're just doing the P's. This particular kit is what they would call a little bit confetti heavy, and then in other places there's color blocking, which means that you do a lot of colors. This kit didn't come with any multi-placer tips, which is basically where there's a tip that will pick up anywhere from 2 to, I think they go all the way up to 10 or 12 diamonds. It's best to start, when I first did it, and there is not enough, I did not get enough of the wax. Where's my wax? So there's not enough wax on there, so I'm going to just dunk it in that again, and you just kind of have to, and this is pretty sticky. Okay, so you get a little bit more wax, and then you keep doing the P's. P. It's hard for me to see there right now. I just had eye surgery on Friday, so I'm not using any kind of light pad, which I didn't have when I started either. If this is something that you end up liking, not a bad idea. Okay. So as you can see, you don't have to buy. So there's some more P's right over here. So I'm just going to go everywhere I see a P, I'm going to put a diamond down on it in the little section that I've pulled back. And I only do a small section because especially when you're doing one at a time, it's going to take you some time to get that part done. And I say practice doing single placing, you know, on your first kit. Maybe some of the kits come with a 2-placer or a 3-placer. That's a really good place to start. If you decide you want to do that, it makes them go faster. Personally, I like that now just because I've been doing it for a while and it makes things go a little faster, but I'm not really all about speed when it comes to diamond painting. Diamond painting for me is a way to relax, kind of chill out, not be in a hurry about anything really, and just sometimes I'm listening to the TV. I might be listening to another diamond painter or any other kind of content that I want to look at. I gotta make sure I got all the P's over there. Okay, there's a few here. So you just keep going, and you're just trying to do the color that you're working on. You don't want to uncover too much of it. And with these budget kits, this is pretty simple. You don't need any other equipment, and you can learn to diamond paint. And now the reason I say don't go, there's a lot of creators that will tell you, go do this, this is going to be the best thing you do. And you know, honestly, I don't have a beef with that. I think getting different tools and stuff like that, once you decide that you really like to diamond paint, is great. And I've got some videos, and we'll be making some more videos that can show you what some of those tools are. But I think when you're first starting, you don't even know if you like it. And diamond painting can get pretty expensive pretty fast. There's people that they buy new pins for every premium kit they make, and they have new trays and I mean, they just go all out. And it's really not necessary. You don't have to buy anything other than what's in the kit. And when I first realized about YouTube, it was so funny because I'd hear everybody say, oh, you need this and you need that, and you know, I'm like, I don't have any of that. But I had still already been diamond painting, so it did, when I was ready, buying some of those things was not a bad thing. I'm guilty of having more things than I need for diamond painting. All I'm saying is, if you've never diamond painted before, spending a lot of money on something you don't even know if you like is, in my opinion, just kind of foolish. Okay, so we've done, just because, I mean, it's a lot of money. So what is K? K is number 2, so we're going to be able to go find 2. I'm going to do the K's here. So, and then you do the same thing. So I've got my number 2 on my baggie with just using the bag that was in there. I didn't have to have any special anything. The only extra thing that I have here is the baggies, because you really do have to have something to transport them into to do it. That's going to make it, I mean, there are some people that just open the bags and then keep putting them into those bags, and they use a clothespin to keep them closed, but I think that would get really tedious for me. So then you just come over here and, okay. And you just lay the drills down. And as you go, it's really fun to see the picture start to take you know, it's not going to happen in this first little section. But what I did was this way, and I did them placed them one by one, because I didn't know any better. And honestly, when you're starting, it's best to do it this way. They come out nicer when you're doing them one at a time, because you're not in a hurry, and you're able to just, you know, kind of line them up a little bit better. This light is in a really weird, there we go, that's better for me. Okay, I can see it now. I was having a hard time seeing it. I did have eye surgery on Friday, so it's Sunday afternoon. I had eye surgery on Friday, so I'm not using a light pad because that's too much light coming at me. And I haven't not used a light pad for at least 2 years, maybe longer. But this is working. The overhead light is working, and so it can be done without it. Now I suggest, now I usually have this easel up because I started, so no, I like to work on an angle. It's a little bit easier on your neck. But when I started, I didn't have an easel. In fact, I was sitting on my sofa, and I had my little dinner tray thing that I was using for eating on. And I used a, I'm going to laugh, I used a pot holder that had has little silicone dots on it, because it gripped things, so I wasn't going to spill as easily. And the baggies, and I would just sit there and diamond paint for hours while I had the TV on. Oops, that's upside down. Every once in a while, not paying attention. Got one that was. Now, the wax in these pins, it is harder to get it to stay, it seems, but I've gotten spoiled with another pin. But my point in doing it this way and only using what comes with the kit is that you don't have to go spend a bunch of money. This kit wasn't expensive. You can get these kind of kits. You can buy them one at a time for sometimes $3 or $4. Just go on Amazon, put in diamond paintings, and look for a picture you like, you know, and look for, and you can even put over in the side how much you want to spend. I don't want to spend more than $5. And it will show you something you like for $5. But make sure, like I said, that you get it where, see how these butterflies are big? And these are kind of big things. There's not a bunch of little tiny things. You don't want a bunch of little tiny things that aren't going to show up. I mean, these little petals, that's fine because those are pretty rudimentary. But if it was like a face or an animal or something, and you just had this little thing, that's not going to turn out. That's going to like if this leaf here was say a face of something, and you tried to do it, it wouldn't turn out. You need, even the butterflies need to be pretty good size. Even this one here, there's a butterfly up here, and it's kind of small for, and we'll see, it may come out, but it's not going to look as good as these big ones. These big ones are going to come out, they're going to look really nice. But the little ones will look a little bit more pixelated. So you want to get pictures that are big, instead of things that, I saw somebody post on one of the pages I was on, and it was about this size of a painting, but it had all these little pictures in it. And she was like, it's not turning out. And I'm like, yeah, it's not going to turn out. They should have never made this picture. The people who made that picture should never have made that picture, because it's not ever going to work. That's why people like to get the premium kits, and I love the premium kits too. But when you're first starting out and you don't even know if you like it, do you really want to spend $30 or you know, something like that on something you don't know that you're even going to finish, or that you're even going to like it? My guess is no. So the small kits, is. So you just keep going till you've got, oh, I did it again. See, I'm not perfect. Part of it is my eyes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm just going to get, well, if I can get it to go, I'm going to get these K's on, and then I'm going to call it quits, and I'll work on it another time. But as you can see, this is basically what you do, and you're just going to, every time you finish all the K's, then in this one I would go to the Z's or the W's, and, or, you know, the next letter that is close to what you're working on, that's what you're going to want to do. And then you just start putting them down, and as you go, it'll start to come alive. It'll start to, like, oh wow, I can see this, and it's really pretty cool. When you work on these, and if they're tipped over the wrong way, just shake the tray a little bit. They'll flip over. With the green one, with these little green trays, it is important to shake them gently, just enough to make them start moving, and they'll start flipping over the right way. But you do kind of have to do it gingerly because you don't have high enough walls on them. That's why people will tell you to get a big, you know, a different tray or spend money on things. But and if you start doing it and you really like it and you're like, oh, I really want a different tray, then by all means, you know, buy a bigger tray. One of the things, if I was going to do one thing, if you really start doing it and you like it, but you still don't want to spend a lot of money, you can go on Amazon and buy a Diamond Art Club toolkit for like $6, I think. And it comes with a premium kit and things, and those are nicer than this. That would be my only thing that I would say if you wanted to. But the reality is you don't have to do any of that. You can do it. That's what I love about diamond painting. When I first started and everybody was recommending doing all these things, I'm like, why? It comes with everything you need. I don't need to spend any more money. Of course, now I spend too much money. But this is how you diamond paint, and that's how it works. And this is seriously the way I did it when I started. And I did it with probably 4 or 5 kits until I was watching these videos about things, and I was like, well, what do you need that for? Baggies work just fine. And then I got one, and then I realized why. But the reality is, you don't have to. And until you know that you like it, why spend a bunch of money you don't need to spend? But there's no right or wrong way. Diamond painting is one of those things. So, and then when you, so say I was finished, I didn't want to do any more because that's kind of where I'm at right now. Then I would just undo the clips, and I just use, like I said, regular paper clips. Put it back down, and the sticky part will stick to the rest of the canvas, the rest of the thing. And now you've got it just waiting for you to do it the next time. And then normally what I would do is I would have all of these. I would have a big gallon-sized bag, and I would throw this, my pin, and my wax all into that. But because I don't have that, I'm going to use the same baggie that the pin and the wax and everything came in. And I'm going to put it, and I'm going to put even the clips in there. I'm going to put it right in there and set it with these. And next time I'm ready to go, that's what I'll be able to do. And yeah. So that is your basic how to diamond paint. And yeah. So if you got this far, please hit the like button if you liked what you saw. If you got to the end, put a butterfly emoji in there. Or comment and tell me what you think. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye now.